table book and the listing of College House as a heritage building in connection with a few important anniversaries for us at University of Colombo, such as celebrating 150 years for medical education in Sri Lanka in 2020 and the centenary for the establishment of the Ceylon University College in Colombo in 2021. We are today launching the volume drafted on the College House, the birthplace of university education in Sri Lanka, and we are also listing this historic building as a heritage building. So to begin the proceedings, I invite the following dignitaries to light the traditional oil lamp. Vice Chancellor of the University of Colombo, Professor Chandrika and Vijayaratna, two council members who are here with us, former Vice Chancellor, as well as the Alumni Association past President, Professor Tilak Hettiarachchi, Deans of the faculties who are here with us today, co-author of the Coffee Table book, Professor Sandagomi Koparaheva, representatives from the Soisa family, Registrar, Bursar, and the Librarian of the University of Colombo, former Registrar, Mr. Varakaule, and Professor Anura Manatunga, Director General of Archaeology. We invite you all to light the traditional oil lamp. So maybe
At least maybe.
okay, right. Apologies for that. Probably we are in very chaotic times in the country, so I think we can certainly excuse these kinds of mistakes. Sorry about that. Apologies. Okay, so we'll proceed, and may I invite the Vice Chancellor, Madam, and all right. Okay, sure. So for the head table, may I invite the Vice Chancellor, Professor Chandrika and Vijayaratna, and the Registrar, Mr. Edward, Professor Koparaheva, the co-author of the book, Professor Anura Manatunga, past President of the Alumni Association, Professor Tilak Hettiarachchi, and representing the family, Professor Sharatnya. Yeah, sorry, Professor Tilak Karnaratna. Professor Sharia also, please, representing the family. And Bersa, Mrs. Jasuria. Okay, so we have prepared a short video to display on our college house, and I invite all of you to enjoy the video, and the video has been prepared by
The origins of the modern university system are inextricably linked to College House, the present administrative hub of the University of Colombo. For over a century, College House has been a site of higher learning and and intellectual activity for scholars who disseminated knowledge for the academic advancement and national development of Sri Lanka. College House has long been recognized as the iconic symbol of the University of Colombo. Once a stately mansion to one of Colombo's well-known families, College House went on to become the cradle of the university education in Sri Lanka. It is also one of Colombo's most beautiful and well-preserved British colonial buildings with a magnificent architectural style. College House began life as Regina Wallower, a stately mansion belonging to C.H. de Soisa's fourth son, Thomas Henry Arthur de Soisa, before it became a seat of learning. In 1899, Arthur de Soisa married Regina Pereira Abewardena, the only daughter of Simon Pereira of Gauls Glosenberg, an affluent merchant and the consul of Chile. Arthur de Soisa set about building a family home for his young wife Regina around 1912. It was built on the grounds of his father's mansion known as Alfred House and was situated across Regina Para, Queen's Road, from Lakshmigiri, now Saifi Villa, the Italianate villa built by his elder brother Richard de Soisa. With its turrets, towers, and conical roofs and many balconies, Regina Wallower was conceptualized as an ideal family home. Sadly, for Arthur, Regina did not live to enter her house. Regina died in 1911, 1 year before its completion. After the untimely death of Arthur de Soisa's beloved wife Regina, the children lived with their father in the completed house. In 1920, a new phase began in the history of Regina Wallower. This beautiful residence was purchased by the government in 1920 and renamed as College House to set up the Ceylon University College in January 1921. Sri Lanka's formal university education in the arts and the sciences began with the establishment of University College. The name of the building was changed to College House, thereby signifying the transformation of a private residence to a public institution.
In 1921, the Ceylon University College commenced with 115 students and was affiliated to the University of London. The ceremonial inauguration of the event was held at the iconic College House building, presided by His Excellency Governor General Manning. Thereafter, from 1921 until 1942, the Ceylon University College served as the only tertiary level institution of higher education in the country. A century ago, the students of richer families of the day entered the precincts of College House to read for degrees from the University of London. At the beginning of the second academic year 1921-22, an Oxford academic, Mr. Robert Mars, arrived and assumed office as the first principal of the University College at College House. He was determined to see that the college evolved into an autonomous university. When Ivor Jennings was appointed as the second principal of the Ceylon University College in 1941, his main task was twofold. First was the creation of the University of Ceylon at the College House premises, and the second was moving off it to a new site in Peradeniya.
In July 1942, the University of Ceylon was established on the same premises under the able guidance of the first Vice-Chancellor, Sir Ivor Jennings. The Vice-Chancellor Jennings personally hoisted the university flag on 1st July at the College House premises. Jennings had far-reaching visions of creating an Oriental Cambridge at Peradeniya on the banks of the Mahavali River. With the shift to Peradeniya, the Colombo chapter of the University of Ceylon, which had come to life within the iconic College House, came to an end. It was the end of an era and the time of new beginnings.
Due to the demand for higher education in arts subjects, a second faculty of arts was established in Colombo in 1963. This was done only as an extension of the faculties in Peradeniya to accommodate the excess of students seeking entrance to the university. In 1979, Professor Stanley Vijayasundara was appointed as the first Vice-Chancellor of the University of Colombo when it was established as an independent university after the disestablishment of University of Sri Lanka.
Today, College House functions as the main administrative hub for all the decision-making activities of the University of Colombo. The offices of Vice Chancellor and Registrar are housed on the first floor of the College House, and it also serves as the venue for Senate and other important meetings of the university. Over the years, the College House building required expansion to accommodate the growing administrative requirements of the University of Colombo. During the tenure of Professor Savitri Gunasekara as the Vice Chancellor, the Council of the University of Colombo decided to build a new Senate room in College House.
The university was able to persuade one of the most eminent conservation architects of the country, Mr. Ashley DeVos, to design and supervise the new extension, which now merges beautifully with the old buildings of College House. In November 2019, under the direct guidance and instructions of the Vice Chancellor, a major restoration project of the College House building was completed in connection with the 150th anniversary celebrations of the Faculty of Medicine and the Asian University Alliance Summit. The refurbishment and maintenance of this unique building was completed with the backing of the university's maintenance department under the guidance of the works engineer and the support of the Sri Lanka arm.
In 2020, the University of Colombo celebrated 150 years of medical education in Sri Lanka, while the year 2021 marked the centenary of the establishment of the Ceylon University College in Colombo. In connection with these important anniversaries and legacies, University of Colombo decided to bring out an illustrated volume on College House, the birthplace of university education in Sri Lanka.
Edited by Professor Sandagomi Koparaheva and Dr. Shravika Amarasekara, this illustrated volume seeks to bring forth the facts and other rare photos related to the history and architecture of this 100-year-old heritage building. The journey over the past 100 years of this building offers fascinating insights into the origins and later developments of university education in Sri Lanka.
Thank you very much. I now cordially invite Senior Professor Chandrika and Vijayaratna, the Vice Chancellor of the University of Colombo, for the welcome address. Sorry, ma'am? Shall we go back? Okay, so before the welcome address, let's resume lighting the traditional oil lamp. Thank you very much. May I now invite Professor Chandrika and Vijay Ratna, the Vice Chancellor of the University of Colombo, to make the welcome address.
Ayubowan, Wanakam, Assalamu alaikum, and a very good afternoon to each and every one of you. Former Vice Chancellor Professor Tilak Hettiarachchi and former Registrar Mr. Varakaula, as well as all the respected council members who have attended physically and who are joining in line. Members of the D'Souza family, namely Professor Sharia Carnival, Ms. Amila Soisa, Mr. Arjuna Ulugalla, and Ms. Nelum Guruge and other members. Contributors to this College House volume, Professor K.N.O. Dharmadasa, Chartered Architect, Ashley was, Ms. Varakaula, former Registrar, Randima Artigala, from the important aspect of journalism, Dr. Siat Gunawardena, Panduka De Silva, Dr. K.D. Paranavithana, and Malaka Lalanajiva, ably led by co-editor, Senior Professor Sandagomi Kupraheva, and I believe Dr. Shavika is overseas right now. Senior Professor Anura Manatunga, the Director General of the Department of Archaeology, and all the contributors, the wonderful contributors who gave us voluntary support from simply being our associates and friends who are here with us today. Thank you for being here, Mr. Dinesh D'Souza, Ms. Samala Vitanage, and I believe Ms. Anuma is abroad, who were recommended by Mr. Diane Gomez. Rector Sri Pali Campus and Deans of Faculties, Directors of Institutes, and Acting Librarian, our Registrar, Bursa, and all the administrative and financial officers, all the presidents of the alumni groups, as well as all our staff and students and well-wishers who have joined us online. So thank you very much for being with us this afternoon, and on behalf of the University of Colombo, and as the current Vice Chancellor, who has a couple of more hours, I think, or days in office, I would like to say that this is a very important landmark occasion for our university, the pioneering University of Modern Education in Sri Lanka, for having been the wonderful owners of this beautiful building. We know that it was built by the D'Souza family for reasons that were very sad, as well as due to undeniably those unexpected events that happen in life, that they were bound to sell it to the government of Sri Lanka, which bought it. At that time it was named Ceylon, for the University of Ceylon. So we are the rightful owners, and I'm extremely grateful to you, Dr. Manatunga, Professor Manatunga, for giving us support, and also to the Secretary of the Ministry of Cultural Affairs for having paved the way to make it what it really ought to be, a heritage building. And it is a momentous occasion because we have a double celebration today, both of the launch of the book, which has been simmering over the couple of years, but was proposed by my predecessor, Senior Professor Lakshman Disanaika, who saw that the need for us to archive, and ably picked on the correct person, Senior Professor Sandagomi Kuparaheva. I'm extremely grateful for all the support given by particularly the authors, but also the members of the council for having authorized this entire activity, because I believe this was funded by the generated income of the University of Colombo. So I would also like to highlight that whilst the editors and the authors contributed and compiled this beautiful book, which I have read from cover to cover in its proofreading, I would like to emphasize the need for us to preserve our history, something that often, despite being in an educational environment, is not emphasized adequately other than those who are reading history, and the need to also archive and capture this beautiful atmosphere that you always feel and appreciate when you enter this building. So in that context, I would like to also say that all our visitors, both locally and from overseas, who come here admire its beauty and the magnificent architecture, ranging from the different colored glasses for the sunrise and the sunset, which I'm sure you'll appreciate when you read the book, as well as tour our college house, as well as its dignified, very calm environment, which is something that we often do not capture in our day-to-day lives. So on behalf of the University of Colombo, and particularly from the central hub of the administration, ably led by its permanent staff, our registrar, the custodian, Mr. K. Saman Edward, and Mrs. Swarna Jayasuriya, our bursar, and also well supported by all the administrative officers, works engineer, and also even our maintenance and cleaning and all those groups, because I think today would not have been possible if not for every one of them working as a team, functioning as one family to make this building to be and retain it to be what it is. In this context, I would like to mention the one reason for this book being delayed, although conceptualized in 2019, was that at the end of 2019, we had managed to restore this building to its former glory by probably scraping away 12 layers of varnish paint, removing, beyond my description, sort of lighting mechanisms that are commonly used in government offices. And we had several, I must say, policy-driven initiatives to bring about a strategy to restore the building to its former glory, as well as to ensure that it will be retained so. So in that context, I would also like to propose that I know that there is a newly appointed Vice Chancellor with effect from next week, that when you do this book again, please include a chapter on the restoration. Because the restoration was done as a labor of love, which I think Randima article ably described in one of her newspaper articles. It was with the support of the Sri Lanka Army and our own workers. And that is something that is often not appreciated. And they, even though they were having a non-academic strike, union action, trade union action, they came and did it voluntarily and remained here for 24 hours. For days and weeks, and we were able to reach all our targets so that we were able to host the Asian Universities Alliance, the high-end university presidents who visited our beautiful country. And one rhetoric that they used, one important word in their rhetoric was that this was pristine. The other fact that I would like to mention, particularly to our students who have joined online, is that this college house has been undeniably, has had an unbroken track record of 100 years in service for higher education under various different activities and contributions. But I know that every student and member of staff who has traversed through our halls of learning has this building in their memory wherever they are. And that is something that we need to hold on to and ensure that it is alive and functional over the next 100 years. I know we have had very sad moments. We lost a former Vice Chancellor in these very premises. So there is a lot of atmosphere, and even when we connect with the University of Cambridge, it has been my pleasure to tell my counterpart in Cambridge that I'm speaking from the room of where Sir Ivor Jennings was functioning for quite a number of years and actually probably even drew up Sri Lanka's constitution at that time. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for coming during these very difficult and trying circumstances. I wish you well. Please enjoy the book, and I'm sure Professor Koparaheva and his co-editor can take this book to greater heights in time to come. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, madam. We have arrived to one of the most important moments of today's event of launching the volume. May I kindly invite Professor Sandagumi Koparaheva, the co-author of the volume, to hand over the first copy of the volume to our Madam Vice Chancellor. Thank you. I now invite Professor Sandagumi Koparaheva, the co-author of this volume, who has spent weeks and months researching and drafting this volume, to give us an introduction about the volume. And may I also remind the other co-author, Dr. Shravika Amrasekar, is not here with us today as she is on a sabbatical.
Very good afternoon to all of you. Reverend Sir, the Vice Chancellor, Professor Chandrika N. Vijayaratne, former Vice Chancellor, Professor Dilak Hettiarachchi, members of the University of Colombo Council, deans of the faculties, former Registrar, Mr. Varakaulle, Director General Archaeology, my good friend, Senior Professor Andrew Manatunga, members of the D'Souza family, professors, Bursa, Registrar, distinguished invitees, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me great pleasure to say a few words to introduce this coffee table book on College House, the cradle of Sri Lanka's university education. This illustrated volume is an outcome of a collaborative effort that took almost 4 years. In 2017, I proposed the idea of compiling an illustrated volume of College House to then Vice Chancellor, Senior Professor Lakshman Dissanayake. A steering committee was appointed by Professor Dissanayake, and the tedious task of preparing the publication was entrusted to co-editors. This volume has been prepared with the support of scholars, archivists, architects, photographers, artists, and the authorities of the University of Colombo. In the preparation of this volume, the first problem we encountered was the paucity of information in the form of written material. We found that there were no records or photographs on this 100-year-old building in the university library or office of the registrar, even though the university administration functioned from College House. As we all know, institutional memory is sorely lacking in our university system. However, The history of the evolution of university education in Sri Lanka is well documented, and this volume connects the early history of higher education in Sri Lanka with College House. The story of higher education in Sri Lanka is closely associated with the history of College House, which began its life as Regina Walauwa. Regina Walauwa was built in 1912 by Arthur de Soisa, the son of famous philanthropists Sir Charles Henry and Catherine de Soisa of Moratuwa. Arthur dedicated the building to his beloved wife Regina, namely Regina Pereira Abeyawardena of Crossenborg, Gaul. Homes are connected with the people who live in them and their joys and sorrows. Sadly, Regina did not live to occupy this beautiful house. After the untimely death of Arthur's beloved wife, Regina, the children live with their father in the completed house. In May 1920, the government purchased this beautiful family home, Regina Walauwa building, to establish the Ceylon University College. The name of the building was subsequently changed to College House. The formal higher education in the arts and science began with the establishment of a university college in January 1921. Last year, we celebrated the centenary of higher education in these premises. The Ceylon University College, affiliated to the University of London, was the only university-level higher education institution in the country between 1921 to 1942. In 1942, the University of Ceylon was established on the same College House premises under the able guidance of the first Vice-Chancellor, Sir Ivor Jennings. College House, originally a family home, was used for decades as the center of an educational institution. College House is perhaps the oldest university building in this country, which, with historical links to the first university college and then to the University of Ceylon. For over a century, College House has been a site of higher learning and intellectual activity for scholars who disseminated knowledge for the academic advancement and national development of Sri Lanka. In this context, College House has witnessed the passage of many years of the history of higher education in Sri Lanka. This is an important legacy that all students and staff who join the University of Colombo must be aware of and be proud of. The College House building itself has become a national legacy entwined with tradition and historical value. Today, we are listing the College House as a national heritage building. Thank you, Professor Manatunga, for initiating this request today. Now, College House functions as the main administrative hub for all decision-making activities of the University of Colombo. The offices of Vice-Chancellor and Registrar are housed on the first floor of the College House. And also it also serves as the venue for Senate and other important meetings of the university. Over the years, the College House building required expansion to accommodate the growing administrative requirements of the University of Colombo. During the tenure of Professor Savitri Gunasekara as the Vice-Chancellor from 1999 to 2003, the Council of the University of Colombo decided to build a new Senate room in College House. The university was able to persuade one of the most eminent conservation architects of this country, Mr. Ashley DeVos, to design and supervise the new extension, which now merges beautifully with the old building of College House. In November 2019, under direct guidance and instructions of the present Vice-Chancellor, a major restoration project of the College House building was completed in connection with the 150th anniversary celebrations of the Faculty of Medicine and the Asian University Alliance Summit. This volume seeks to bring forth the facts and other rare photos related to the history and architecture of this 100-year-old heritage building. The volume is divided into 4 parts. The part 1 explores the family history of Charles Henry de Soisa and Regina Valauga. It looks at the origins and development of this building from a private residence to a university college. Part 2 narrates the historical facts related to the establishment of the University College and the University of Ceylon and highlights the link between the early years of Sri Lanka's university education and College House. This section establishes the College House premises as the cradle of university education in Sri Lanka. Part 3 covers the events associated with College House as the administrative hub of the University of Colombo. And Part 4 illustrates the architectural splendor of College House at present. In general, by mapping the history of College House, this publication seeks to trace the founding years of higher education in Sri Lanka. The launch of this volume highlights the importance of protecting and preserving our historic buildings in the capital city of Colombo. On behalf of the editors of this volume, I take this opportunity to thank all the individuals and institutions who helped to complete this task. The initial archival research on which this volume is based was conducted by Chamini Kulatunga under the guidance of the editors. The volume is visually strengthened by the photography of Mr. Panduka De Silva and illustrations of Mr. Malaka Lalanjiva. A very special thanks to Mr. Panduka and Mr. Malaka for their valuable contribution. We are also very fortunate to have been able to obtain some rare photographs of historical value for this volume. Many of these had been hidden away in family archives and libraries and are published here for the first time. I will never forget the long hours that I spent at the libraries and archives searching for rare pictures and documents for this volume, and the time I shared with the talented artist Malaka for the layout and design. As one of the editors, I treated this task as a labor of love for the institution of which I am an alumnus. I must also thank my co-editor, Dr. Shavika, who is on sabbatical leave overseas, and all the contributors, especially for their valuable contributions. Finally, I would like to thank all the authorities of the University of Colombo for providing assistance in the production of this volume today, and special thanks to printers for the job well done. Thank you for your presence today, and I wish you a peaceful holiday with Singalauru. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. You gave us a very detailed introduction for the structure of the volume, and I'm sure, similar to me, you stimulated the curiosity of all our members in the audience today to read the volumes. Thank you very much. We have now arrived to the second most important moment of today's event, of declaring the College House as a heritage building. For that, may I kindly invite Senior Professor Anura Manatunga, Director General Archaeology, to officially hand over the letter to the Vice Chancellor. Sir, we also invite you to address the gathering.
Reverend Sir, Madam Vice Chancellor, all the distinguished invitees here. Actually, I'm not prepared for speaking today. I thought this ceremony being postponed due to the unrest in the country. And at 1 o'clock, I asked Sandagomi whether you are going to have it or not. And then he told, no, it's happening and you should come. Then only I got ready and came here. Anyway, it's a very good opportunity for the Department of Archaeology to declare this building. Today we declare it as a heritage building, but Madam, legally, I have no authority to declare it as a heritage building because there is no law for that, but I can declare it as a protected monument, protected archaeological monument, because we don't have heritage law, and we are going to prepare a heritage law, but we can say it's a heritage building because it's what public believe. We can say like that, but we declared it archaeologically as a protected monument because we have power from the 1914 Archaeological Antiquity Ordinance to declare buildings which has historical, archaeological or artistic value over 100 years. If they were built over 100 years, we have that power to declare. And most of the time we go and find those buildings and try to declare them as protected monument. But in this case, the university came to us and they asked us to declare this building as a heritage building or protected building. So that's a very good move, and we need that actually. Last 5 years, we couldn't declare even a single building as a protected monument in Sri Lanka. But last year alone, we listed over 50 buildings, including 2 buildings from Colombo University. One is this Regina Walau, and other one is the Science Faculty building, for your request, your kind request. And now this building, you are very proud owners of protected archaeological monuments in Sri Lanka. You are the owners, we are not owners. Many people think that when we declare them as protected monuments, we are archaeology department own the buildings. It's not true. We have no any ownership. But only thing is, we from time to time, we impose some regulations to protect this as it is, because that's very important. So you have to follow those conditions from time to time. Those are not difficult, and this is not difficult for these academic people because we are always protecting this. You are the people who protected this so far. So it's not difficult for you to protect it in future also. Possibly we will come once a year or something like that, go around and put a report that it is intact or something like that. But when you need any addition or any repair or even whitewash, you need to take a permission from the Department of Archaeology. It's granted. Don't worry about that because we know that you do it well and keep this properly. And I'm very happy that you have taken the service of architect Ashley DeVos. He's the best person for this type of work in Sri Lanka. So you have chosen the right person for that. It's also very good. And you have very good scholars here like Dr. Parnavitana, Professor Rohini Parnavitana and others. And I would like to request you something, Madam. In Colombo University, we don't have archaeology department. We don't have a heritage department. Please think about it, and you can initiate an archaeology course here, at least for the colonial period archaeology, I mean heritage of colonial period, and this is the best place for that. And Sri Lankan, we have several archaeology departments in other universities, but they are also not interested that much on the colonial period. And if you can start a heritage department or heritage study course or something like that, that would be very useful. That's my humble request. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Manatunga, as well as for your very timely suggestion. Now it's time to distribute the copies of the volume to our most respected dignitaries at the audience. I first invite Madam Vice Chancellor to present the copies of the volume to the members in the head table. Okay, and yeah, so some of you at the audience, hopefully most of you or all of you, I don't know, will get a copy of the volume, especially the members of the De Soisa family, Mr. L.S.D. Piris, Ms. Lilamani Gunawardana, Professor Sharya just received a copy, Mr. Nalin Mendis and Mrs. Padmini Mendis. Maybe organizers can keep distributing and I can keep reading the list. And former Vice Chancellor, Professor Tilak Hettiarach, including the members of the head table, they have already received their copy, and deans of the faculties, members of the council who are here with us, and contributors of the volume who are with us today, Chartered Architect Ashley DeVos, Dr. K.D. Paranavithana, Mr. N. Varakaule, the former registrar, Ms. Randima Atiagalla, Professor Amal Jayawardena, who are here with us today, and Professor Chandu De Silva, as well as Mr. Rahal Abiratna, the works engineer, will receive copies of the volume. Thank you. Right, so we have arrived to the end of today's event. May I kindly invite Mr. K.S. Edward, the Registrar of the University, to make the vote of thanks.
Good evening to all of you. Reverend Sir, Vice Chancellor of the University of Colombo, Senior Professor Chandrika and Vijayaratna, former Vice Chancellors of the University of Colombo, Professor Anura Manatunga, the Director General of the Department of Archaeology, respected council members, respected members of the Soisa family, contributors of the College House volume, Rector Sripali campus, deans of the faculties, directors of the institutes, Professor Sandagomi Koparaheva, acting librarian, Bursa, administrative and finance officers, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great privilege for me to deliver the vote of thanks on this grand, memorable occasion of the launch of the College House coffee table book and listing the College House building as a heritage building. First and foremost, I take this great opportunity to express our sincere thanks and heartfelt gratitude to Professor Sandagomi Koparaheva and Ms. Ravika Amarasekara, who took upon this magnum opus of a task under the guidance of former Vice Chancellor, Senior Professor Lakshman Disanayake, of digging deep through the history of the prestigious College House building, which today stands as the symbol of University of Colombo. Your dedication towards this task has today resulted in launching a coffee table book with the history behind this prestigious monument and the journey towards the present. I would like to record our deep sense of appreciation for your continued and valuable contributions towards unveiling the history behind this monument and also towards the betterment of the education of the University of Colombo. Special thanks goes to Professor Lakshman Disanayake, who conceptualized this and encouraged this team to launch this coffee table book. I take this opportunity to express my gratitude to the members of the De Soisa family who have been gracious enough to attend this event at our request. Professor Shara's Carnival, Ms. Amila De Soisa, Mr. Arjuna Hulugal, and Ms. Nelum Guruge. I am sure that it must be your immense pleasure in seeing your ancestral home getting due diligence and recognition. On behalf of the University of Colombo, I wish to extend our deep sense of gratitude to all the contributors of this College House volume, the scholars, archivists, architects, photographers, illustrators, namely Professor Kenu Dharmadasa, chartered architect, as he was, in Mr. N. Varakaule, former registrar of the University of Colombo, Randima Article, Dr. Siat Gunawardana, Panduka de Silva, Dr. K.D. Parnavitana, and Malaka Lalanjiva for gracing this occasion. We are sincerely indebted for the support you have extended to us in well documenting the early history of the University of Colombo as well as the Sri Lankan higher education. I take this opportunity to extend my heartfelt thanks to Senior Professor Anura Manatunga, the Director General of the Department of Archaeology, for gracing this occasion and adding more meaning to it by officially listing the College House as a protected heritage building. We are profoundly thankful to the members of the Council for their potential contributions, unstinted support and valuable guidance for the uplift of the status of the University throughout the period. My special thanks go to Madam Vice Chancellor, Senior Professor Chandrika and Vijayaratna for your invaluable guidance, leadership and encouragement, and inspirational thoughts, and most importantly, the initiative you had from the get-go to ensure that the College House claims the accreditation it deserves, especially by refurbishing the entire premises and by ensuring that it gets enlisted as a National Heritage Building, so that its unique piece of architecture gets preserved for generations to come to savor. Furthermore, my heartfelt thanks goes to Mr. Anjali Veerasekara, Mr. Dinesh De Soisa, Mr. Diane Gomez, Ms. Samala, and Ms. Anoma, who were of enormous help when it came to the refurbishment of the College House building to its present glory. Thank you for accepting our invitation and gracing this occasion. I wish to thank the former Vice Chancellor, Professor Hettiarachi, University Rector, Deans of the Faculties, Directors of Institutes, Acting Librarian, Bursa, Administrative and Financial Officers, academic support staff, and non-academic staff for gracing this occasion and for their valuable contribution, guidance, and encouragement in all our efforts. I wish to thank all the distinguished invitees for accepting our invitation and being present here to grace the occasion. I thank the members of the media for evincing interest in covering the entire event and all good hearts who work behind the screen. I also express my gratitude to Dr. Hiran Jayawar and Postmedia Faculty of Science Media team for their hard work and commitment to make this event a great success. My special thanks goes to Dr. Pavitra Jayawardena for appearing at this function. Thank you very much. Last but not least, let me express my special thanks and gratitude to our organizing team, Senior Assistant Registrar General Administration, Assistant Registrar Vice Chancellor's Office, Assistant Registrar, Student and Staff Affairs, the NOC, the marshals, security officers, the staff and the janitorial staff for your untitled service, commitment and support to make this event a grand and resounding success. Once again, I thank you all for your enormous cooperation in the organization of this event. Thank you. Have a pleasant evening. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Edward. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we now conclude this short but graceful and historic event today, giving you room to keep reading the volume. Let me also thank all of you for attending for today's event amidst everything that is happening around us. Let me also thank Vice Chancellor Madam for your great leadership that you've been given for people like us, especially junior academics who are in this university sector. You have been truly inspiring, ma'am. Thank you very much. Right, so we'll rise and sing together the National Anthem, ladies and gentlemen. Blessing our nation. Enjoy refreshments and also little chit chats outside the Senate.